Hi, my name is Christopher Cookson, and this is Sarah Cookson, my wife. Our charity was started initially about 8 years ago. Our first son was born, and we found out he had a lot of complications. The doctors basically said to us that you need to expect the worst. He's not going to live a long life, but that's one thing that we didn't fully believe. We didn't want to believe, and parents don't want to believe them things when they are told that. Um, and we lived a life of 2.5 years of trying our best to keep our son alive. And in 2013, we lost Charlie. And he was 2.5 years old, and that was one of the worst times of our life. And we started what was back then as the Charlie Cookson Foundation. And what we do is support families who have children with life-limiting conditions. We financially support these families for a period of 3 months to pay their bills, their gas, their mortgage, their electric, the fuel. Because me and Sarah said to each other, what would have been the biggest support that we could have had when we had Charlie? And I think because I worked 1 day a week and Sarah struggled with her dance school, we didn't have the money coming in, but you still need to pay your bills, all your gas, your electric still needs paid. So we said, what if we could give somebody a breather, a space, or a rest period from their bills, just to spend time with their son or their daughter when they're going through what can only be said as the worst time of their life. And these families are doing the same thing we did to try and prolong their child's life as long as possible.
A lot of the families, the situation that they find themselves in is the child needs 24/7 care. So one or both the parents would have had to either give up their job or reduce their working hours. So like me and Chris did a shift system. So I would go to work on an evening, he would be back from work, and they try to do it that way, which also on their life would have had an impact on their finances because they wouldn't be getting the wage that they would have been getting prior to obviously their child becoming poorly. So, it's a lot of money. It's £3,000 that we pay towards their bills, which will see them comfortable for a while, and it might not go towards the bills. These families who've been struggling in that position for quite a while would have sort of rocked up quite a lot of arrears. So they've got a lot of rent letters at the door. They're unable to move to a better accommodation because they're in arrears with the council. We help relieve that so they can have a better quality of life with their sick child, because time's going to be very precious for them because it is a life-limiting condition that they've got. So if we can make that a little bit easier for the parents, the child will have a better life because it's the parents that look after the child. So we made a point of looking after the parents because they are their lifeline at the end of the day. They are the ones who are taking care of them 24/7.
You'll now know us as the Charlie and Carter Foundation. The reasoning for that is because we tried again after 5 years. We thought the charity was established. We never will be over the loss of Charlie, but we thought after 5 years we can maybe try again and try having a family, try being a family. And Sarah fell pregnant again on the 26th of December 2018. Carter John Cookson came along to us, and we had 8 hours, I think 8 hours of a normal, not thinking anything was wrong. And then 10:30 that night, we were found out that Carter needed a heart transplant, and it was then a race against time, and we were rushed to Freeman. We didn't know I had 25 days. That could never have been said to her. We just knew we had a race against time to try and find a heart transplant. For us, we did everything we could. Carter's body started failing. I think that's the only way we could say, because he's on an ECMO machine. You only meant to be on an ECMO machine for a couple of days. It's not a long-term thing. The rest of his body functions stopped working, and after 25 days, we lost that race against time, and we had to kiss our second son goodnight for the last time, which is why you now know us as the Charlie and Carter Foundation. So we personally like to think that both the boys are together in heaven. Both the boys' names are in the title of our charity. So what we do now is what we said before. We support Charlie's honour and Charlie's name We support families who have children with life-limiting conditions, the same life we lived. And in Carter's name and in Carter's honour, we also promote organ donation as much as possible to try and encourage people to sign up for the organ donation, to stay on the organ donation list, and to really think about, if the worst was to happen and your child wasn't going to survive, really think about allowing your child's organs to be donated to save other children's lives. We can only say from a personal point of view, we couldn't find a heart transplant for Carter because he was so small, and we'll never get over that. But what if we can try and encourage organ donation to help other families so they don't have to lose the child, or they don't have to lose the loved ones, or the husbands, the wives, the older kids, the grandparents. So that's what we do in both our boys' names in honour, and that's all we can do now as parents. We can't do anything else. We weren't dealt a pack of cards when we had healthy children. They could play about and play football and come back with rips in the pants and stuff like that. Maybe our boys were here to save other children's lives. That's the only thing that we can believe now. We hope that's true. We hope they were brought here to save other families' lives. It's not good for us, but for other families, they might just be here to make a big difference. And I think the impact that both our boys have made is a bigger impact than me and Sarah will ever make on anybody. So that's our charity in a nutshell, and why we do what we do, and how we became about, and how we kind of help families.
If you would like to get in touch with the Charlie and Carter Foundation to donate or to get help, please visit charliecookson.org.uk or call 0191 4661 428.